What's going on, my friends, and welcome back to yet another episode of Combat Tips Season 3. If the title wasn't obvious enough, today we're going to be covering Erron Black's Brutalities, all of the ones available as of this video's release date. Should there be any particular brutality you've come here to learn today, feel free to hop on down to either the description or the comments below, where I'll have left timestamps for you guys to jump to any of the ones that are currently featured in this video. As per usual, should there be any controls I say that don't entirely make sense to you guys because you're using a different input method, feel free to use this little guide right here. This should allow you to convert anything I say in today's tutorial to whatever controller you are likely using for any of the current platforms featuring Mortal Kombat 11. As per usual, we'll be starting off in the cosmetics menu today, and that is to show you that as of this video's release date, there are 18 out of 18 finishers for Erron Black, which means we will be covering 8 particular brutalities in today's video. As is tradition, we'll be starting with the Klassic today, but again, if there's any particular brutality you have come here to learn, feel free to use the timestamps down below that you can find in either the description or the comments. With that all said, let's begin. Alright folks, so here we are starting off with the Klassic, and we do have a couple bits of criteria in order to perform this one properly. Now the first step is that you cannot block an attack during the final round, and do keep in mind the final round is what your victorious round is going to be, so that can be either round 2 or 3, just whatever one you're going to win on. Next up, they say do not block an attack. Now, it is okay if you hit the actual block button by accident, but once you actually take a hit while blocking, that means you have unfortunately blocked an attack and sacrificed your opportunity to perform this particular brutality. Next up, you need to finish your opponent with an uppercut, which is either going to be down Y or down triangle, and when you're doing this, you want to make sure you hold the respective button that you have activated that uppercut with, which again would either be Y or triangle, and you want to hold that respective button. That all said, let's give you guys a quick example. So as per usual folks, we're on round 2 here, and I just want to show you real quick, doing some quick blocks just to show you it's alright. Should you accidentally block, that's okay, just don't block an actual attack, otherwise again you forfeit the opportunity to do this brutality. Next up, we want to perform an uppercut on the opponent to actually finish them, which again is going to be down Y or down triangle, and it should look a little something like this. Easy enough, you guys. Alright folks, here we are going in for our final hit. One more reminder, do not block an attack during the final round, which again, as you can see here, for us is round 2. It can also be round 3 in your particular case if the fight goes that long. And when they say do not block an attack, it's okay. Should you hit the block button, as you can see, just make sure that you don't actually get hit while blocking. That said, we got to finish the opponent with an uppercut, which is down Y or down triangle, and make sure to hold either Y or triangle while doing that uppercut. Let's go for it, you guys. Pop. Easy enough, folks. Again, this is the Klassic. Every character has this one. The only reason I do it for every character is that if you, as a viewer, want to just see one particular character's tutorial, you don't have to hop around just to learn the Klassic, should I only have done it for one particular character. So as you can see, I'm going to provide it with all the characters so you guys can just click one tutorial and get them all there. On to the next one. Alright, folks, so next up we have the Is Something Burning Brutality. Now this one is actually very straightforward, but it will require that you have the TNT toss in your arsenal, so do make sure you have that if you want to perform this brutality. As I said, the requirements are extremely straightforward. All you have to do is finish your opponent with that TNT toss I mentioned, make sure it's in your arsenal, and all you really have to do is make sure your final hit comes from the TNT toss. But I'll give you guys a couple tips which may help you figure out how to get that to happen a little bit easier during battle. Alright folks, so a TNT toss itself is either going to be down back square or down back X, and it should look a little something like this. Easy enough. I would call this by itself about a medium range attack. Now as I said, if you do the move by itself, it's going to go to about a medium range. However, if we want to do a shorter or further range, that is also possible. Now to do the shorter range, you want to do down back X back or down back square back, and that should look a little something like this. And as you can see, the TNT goes mere inches away from Erron because that is the short throw. Now for that long range throw, it is very similar. We just want to push the other direction this time, and that would be down back X forward or down back square forward, and that should look a little something like this. And there we go, all the way across the screen. And as you can see, this one actually hit our opponent because it had the length necessary to get over there. Now, if you guys are familiar with the rattlesnake slide, which is back forward A or back forward X, you can actually move the opponent around and sometimes force them into the TNT. So that's what the actual rattlesnake slide looks like. Again, back forward A, back forward X. And again, you can force the opponent into the TNT sometimes with that. So an example, we'll do a short one, rattlesnake slide, boom, and boom. So there you go, you guys. Just, again, one extra tip that I thought of before moving on to our final hit. Okay, folks, so here we are moving in for our final strike. One more reminder, all you have to do for this particular brutality is finish the opponent with a TNT toss, which again is down back X or down back square, and that's all there is to it. Feel free to take into account the tips I gave you previously and use them to your advantage if they help. Otherwise, let's go ahead and finish our opponent one more time with our TNT toss, like so, which again is down back square or down back X, and you should get a nice little animation that ends just like that. It's really slapstick if you ask me. I did this one on the stream. A lot of people introduced this to me on one of the Mortal Kombat streams I did in the past, and a lot of people compare it to Looney Tunes. I entirely agree. So, on to our next one, my friends. Alright, folks, so next up we have the Goodbye Cruel World brutality. And if I had to guess, that's probably why a lot of you folks are here. Now, in order to do this one, you want to make sure you have the TNT toss in your arsenal, so do make sure that's set up if you want to perform this particular brutality. So let's take a quick look at the requirements over here, and I think this is definitely what throws a lot of people off. Essentially, it says the final hit must come from a TNT toss while being held by Erron Black, and while this is accurate, what they don't specify is the final hit must be performed on yourself. You're not looking to damage the opponent, but you as a player. What this essentially comes down to is you know you're going to lose the match, so you want to die in a flashy way. So you're essentially allowing the opponent to win while still taking away their opportunity to perform a brutality or a fatality on you. You're kind of ending the match on your own means, even if it is going to be a little bit messy. But let me go ahead and give you guys an example. I think this was cleared up a little bit more now. If you guys are familiar with Harakiri or Harakiri from the past Mortal Kombat Deception games, this brutality will probably make a lot more sense in a moment. Alright folks, so here we are in the battle. Again, make sure you have TNT toss in your arsenal, and just like before, we want to do down back X or down back square, which looks a little something like this. However, we're not looking to blow up the opponent, as I mentioned. Now, when it says to push down back X or down back square, instead of letting go of square or X, you want to hold that button, and by doing that, you're actually going to hold on to the TNT, like so. And there we go, we just damaged ourselves, and that is what we're looking to do. We are going to lose this match, and instead of letting Devora get the last hit on us, we're going to let our own Dynamite get the last hit on us, okay? So hopefully that makes sense, but let's go ahead and show you guys what it should look like. Alright folks, so as you can see, Devora is about to win this match. I'm getting low on health. One more reminder, a TNT toss for this particular scenario is going to be down back X or down back square, and make sure to hold either X or square. And then of course, by doing so, this will damage you, and boom. We're definitely about to die from this next hit now, so one last reminder, make sure you're using this brutality on yourself. This is not meant to damage the opponent, this is meant to kill you, and kind of a way to end the match on your own violent terms. So here we go, TNT toss, which is down back X, down back square, and hold X or square. And there we have it, you guys. Brutality, Devora wins, and Erron, unfortunately, goes pop. So there we have it, you guys. I hope that clears up this brutality, because I know a lot of people have been asking me, and I know it's a little bit confusing because, again, they don't specify that you're supposed to damage yourself, as opposed to what most of us would normally assume is that we want to damage the opponent, or both yourself and the opponent. But in this case, it's just yourself. So on to the next brutality, you guys. Alright everybody, so next up is the Beast Trap brutality. Now you will need the Nether Beast Trap ability in your arsenal, so do make sure you've got this ready to rock if you want to perform this particular brutality. Now next up are the actual requirements, and they're definitely pretty straightforward. All you want to do is hit your opponent with 3 Nether Beast Traps at some point between rounds 1, 2, and 3, whenever you're going to be victorious, and then you want to make sure your final hit comes from yet another Nether Beast Trap. And just to be clear, you cannot make the 3rd Nether Beast Trap the brutality. You want to make sure you land 3 of them before you go for the brutality, or I often find it will not count and unfortunately just take you to the finish him screen instead. So let's give you guys a quick demonstration. Alright folks, so a Nether Beast trap is going to be down back B or down back circle, and it should look just like that. However, obviously, if your opponent sees a bear trap on the floor, they're probably going to try to avoid it, but I'll show you a couple methods in which you can hope to maybe manipulate your opponent into that trap. Now the first one is the most basic one. You just play on your opponent's lack of awareness, you throw down a trap, and hope that they walk into it like so. Easy enough. So there's one trap. Next up, you can also literally just walk up to your opponent, and normally, of course, they're going to be taking swings at you like so, but if you can avoid it, if they're maybe stunned or maybe getting up, you can go right up to their feet and drop the trap right on their toes, and that'll immediately catch them, assuming you don't get hit during the animation. So if you can set up the whole trap, you should be good to go. The next thing you could potentially do is enhance the Nether Beast trap, which is down back B right button or down back circle R1, and by doing this, you can actually, boom, hit the opponent from across the map with a trap, and that actually, despite being enhanced, will still count towards the criteria for this brutality. The 3 traps you have to get, one enhanced one like so, it does count. And last but not least is my favorite combination. We use the rattlesnake slide again, which is going to be back forward A or back forward X, and we combine that with another beast trap like this. Throw down a trap, slide under the opponent, and boom. So there we have it, you guys. 4 tips from basic to slightly intermediate, nothing too crazy. They all should be pretty easy, and they should help you find ways to manipulate your opponent into those traps. Alright folks, so we're moving in for the final hit here. We need to, again, hit your opponent with at least 3 Nether Beast traps at some points between rounds 1, 2, and 3, and then simply finish your opponent with 1 more Nether Beast trap. And that's all there is to it. In this particular case, I'm actually going to finish them with the enhanced Nether Beast trap, just to A, show you that it works, and B, because I find these catch a lot better in real fights. So let's go ahead and do that now. Down back B or down back circle, and feel free to push R1 or right button if you want to enhance that. Let's go for it. And pop. Oof. Looks like she's going to be missing a little bit something. One might call that a bug trap, actually. But there we have it, you guys. This one is a really fun one to pull off, I find, just because I love using the Nether Beast traps. I know they're not necessarily the most convenient because of the amount of time it takes to set them up, but when you do catch an opponent with them, it just feels really satisfying. So, on to the next one. Alright folks, so next up is the Brutality. Now this one will require that you have the Acid Pour move in your variation, so do make sure you have that equipped if you want to perform this particular brutality. Next up are the requirements, and these ones are thankfully pretty straightforward. All you have to do is finish the opponent with an actual Acid Pour, and while you're doing that, you want to hold either X or square on your respective controller. So let's go ahead and give you guys an example. Alright you guys, so an Acid Pour, very straightforward. Back forward X or back forward square, should look something like this. Pull out your jar, dump some on the crown, and give them a little bit of glass to leave with. Easy enough, folks. All you have to do beyond that is make sure you hold either X or square on your respective controller, which, regardless, is going to be the button you activate the move with anyway. So just don't let go of that button when you're going in for that brutality, and you'll be fine. Okay, folks, we're going in for our victorious hit. One last time, you want to hit your opponent with that Acid Pour, which is back forward X or back forward square, and make sure to hold either square or X, which is the respective button you activate it with anyways. Let's go for it, you guys. Boom. Boom. And last but not least, oof, that extra little acid spray. Now one tip I will give you, or rather a just little suggestion, is that this animation seems to look better when you perform it from the left side of the screen, if you can. Obviously, don't go out of your way to do that. That has nothing to do with actually performing the brutality, but I do find that when you hit the opponent from the right side, they will actually usually hide the wounds unintentionally because they will fall in the opposite direction often. But just a little tip, onto our next brutality. Alright folks, so next up is the Dancing Days Are Done brutality. Now this one will require that you have the down Peacemaker move, so make sure that's set up in your arsenal if you want to perform this particular brutality. As for our actual requirements, you want to make sure that at no point during this match you land a fatal blow. Should you do this, unfortunately you will forfeit this opportunity to perform the brutality. Beyond that, however, all you really have to worry about is finishing the opponent with a down Peacemaker, and you have to hold forward while you're doing that. I find that you really have to be quick with this one. You really have to move your finger to that forward direction often, or it seems to not work. This is a very, very quick brutality. It has to happen very quick and fluid, so I'll try to give you guys a good example if I can. Let's hop into it. Now the down peacemaker itself is going to be down back Y or down back triangle, and it should look something like this. Easy enough. That's all there is to it, but do note that, again, it's down back Y. So for me, as a button style player where I use the D-pad, my thumb is likely going to be on back, and as soon as you push back, you have to move your thumb to the opposite side to push forward. You have to be very quick with this one, or it's just not going to register, unfortunately. Alright folks, so we're moving in for our final hit here. We again want to make sure we finish the opponent with a down peacemaker. Hold forward while you're doing it, and you cannot hit any fatal blows at all during the match. As you can see up here on Devora's side, we have her fatal blow still ready to go, so as long as you, as your own player, have not spent that, you should be alright to perform this brutality. So again, down peacemaker and hold forward, and I cannot stress enough, when it comes to holding forward, you have to get your thumb there very, very quick, or it just does not seem to register. So let's go for it, you guys. Down back Y or down back triangle, and make sure you push forward ASAP, like so. There we have it, you guys. Very simple, very straightforward, and a little bit gruesome as she crawls away without her legs. So if you guys are into that, there you have it. Extra brutality for your brutality. Alright, my friends, so next up is the hard to swallow brutality. Now this one does require the cattle toss move in your variation, so please do make sure you have that if you want to perform this particular brutality. As for our requirements, they are thankfully very straightforward. You simply have to finish your opponent with a cattle toss, and while that is happening, you want to mash X and Y or square and triangle on your respective controller. Now, our cattle toss in itself is going to be down back forward square or down back forward X, and it should look a little something like this. Easily one of my favorite animations for Erron Black, especially if you enhance it, but that's really all there is to it. The only other thing I have to mention to you guys is that you're, again, going to want to mash square and triangle or X and Y, and the way I like to do it is I'll be holding my controller, lift my right hand off, take my pointer and middle, put them on the two buttons you have to mash, and boom. Easy enough, like so. I just tap the two with those two fingers, and that's really the way I've always done it, at least since MKX. It seems to always guarantee I get the brutalities that require me to mash. Alright folks, we're moving in for our final strike using a cattle toss, which is down back forward X or down back forward square, and make sure to mash either square and triangle or X and Y while you're doing this. It's as straightforward as that. Let's do it, you guys. Mashing the buttons, and pop. You got this beautiful revolver execution. If you're looking for that type of finishing move, Erron Black's got some beautiful things right up his sleeve there. So if you need that Western style in your life, the man's got it all. On to our last brutality, folks. Alright folks, so the last brutality for today is called Kiss My Spur, and this one is pretty straightforward. All you have to do is perform a back throw, and then you want to hold forward during that back throw. So let's go ahead and give you guys a quick and easy example. Alright folks, so there are two ways you can perform a throw that I know of. If you're like me and a traditional controller style player, you're going to want to use L1 or left button, and that should, by default, give you a back throw so long as you don't push any direction. So as you can see, that is an example right there of what a back throw should look like. Additionally, should you be a button/arcade style player, you can also push square and X at the same time, or X and A at the same time, and that should still give you a back throw animation. Just please keep in mind that while it does say to hold forward for this brutality, do not push that direction till after the animation has started. As you can see here, if we push forward while we do a throw, we're going to get a forward throw, and that's not proper. We want a back throw, so just make sure that when you move into the opponent, you let go of the forward direction and just do a plain by itself back throw. Now, when it says to push forward during the brutality, the best advice I can give you is that forward will always be the direction Erron walks when he goes to stomp on the opponent's head. So let's do a back throw here, as you can see, and Erron's going to be walking right in this case, so forward is right. But again, now we're on this side, so we're going to do a back throw, and this time the opponent is laying to the left, so forward is going to be left. So just keep in mind that you always want to push forward in the direction Erron is walking or wherever their head is laying on the sand after you got the animation going. So we get our throw going, and now we push forward. Easy. Alright folks, we're moving in for our final strike. You want to finish the opponent with a back throw, and after the animation begins, hold forward, which again, in this case, forward will always be the direction Erron walks to step on the opponent's head. So here we go, you guys, going for a throw, and we're holding forward now, which in this case is right. Boom, boom, boom. I love this one. It's just so curb stompy and messy. It's a great way to finish our Brutality tutorial for today, I think, and hopefully you guys have been enjoying all of these tutorials so far. Alrighty, you guys, so here we are, wrapping up on our cosmetic screen today. Thank you, as always, so much for joining me. I really do, as I said, hope you guys have been enjoying these tutorial videos. They're a lot of work to put together, but they're also a lot of fun, and in reality, I learn a lot along the way of just helping put things together for you all. So, as always, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you've been enjoying. If you would like to reflect any of your feelings, either through a comment or like or even dislike down below, feel free to do so. And if you guys are interested in seeing more characters or more tutorials in the future, feel free to subscribe and turn on notifications so you guys can find out exactly when more stuff like this goes live. Depending on when exactly you guys see this video, feel free to hop on over to my channel and vote in the poll for which character will get a Brutality tutorial next. And should you not see a character of your preference there, feel free to comment them either on the poll or in this video below, and I may take them into consideration and add them to the poll next week. So once again, you guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I always really appreciate your company. Again, I hope you enjoyed the tutorials, and I really hope that I'll see you guys next time. As always, stay safe and stay happy. Adios.